We're live. It's another Sunday Night Live session, guys. It feels like it's been a long time. I'm Kevin Shaw, editor-in-chief of Watercraft Personal Watercraft Illustrated. And that magazine went out of business in 2010. Holy cow. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Watercraft Journal, and I'm clearly losing my mind. But guys, thanks again for tuning in. Really appreciate everyone coming in on this Sunday evening. We got a lot to talk about. Oops, I'm not supposed to be showing you that. Whoops. But anyway, we got a lot to talk about today. It might be running long, so I think a few of you guys might be tuning out after a few minutes. But we got a whole lot of really cool stuff going on. Got a lot to talk about. Got a whole page of notes and even more. I have stickers in the Ziploc bag because I bring them out on the water with me for anyone I run into. We've got Watercraft Journal stickers for any of our Super Chat supporters who have a good question. As always, we get to our Super Chat questions after the, lesson, after the prepared notes and topic that we're going to discuss. Once I finish that, and that's about a half an hour, 45 minutes, we get to the Super Chat questions, and anyone who who donates or more for a Super Chat, if you're in the U.S., I'm going to send you some stickers, but if you do make a Super Chat question, you get bumped to the head of the line, and I'll stop what I'm talking about, and I'll immediately answer your Super Chat question. So, and it doesn't have to be on topic. It can be like a total non sequitur, and I'll still jump out of line and answer your question. First, let's get some business out of the way. I want to give you guys some updates on Billy's here. I have to stop and acknowledge Billy. Billy Duplessis is here, guys. I know Billy's tuning in. He's a big Cowie guy, even though he rides a Yamaha. All right. So, a little bit of business first and foremost, guys, this is something that I spend a lot of time preparing for, and we and my team do work really hard to publish content on both the YouTube channel and at watercraftjournal.com, which are written articles. I know people don't seem to like to read anymore. That depresses me to no extent. But we do publish quite a bit of content. We publish 5 articles a week, and we publish 6 videos a week. So that's a metric ton of content. That's more than anyone else on the planet. And I've checked. It's literally more than anyone else on the planet. I'm not being superfluous. So if you like what we're doing, please do me a couple favors. All right. First, the free stuff. If you haven't subscribed to our newsletters, that's going to get you all the updates for the videos and the articles. Hit the hyperlink or just go to watercraftjournal.com and hit the subscribe button. That's going to subscribe you to your email to our newsletters. We send out 2 newsletters a week. We don't spam you. We don't sell your email address for spam or anything like that. We do keep those email lists, but please subscribe to our newsletters. Number 2, and that is free. The newsletters are free. Everything here is free. Number 2, if you do have a Google account, please subscribe to the Watercraft Journal YouTube channel. Right now, we're only just shy of a third of our viewers are subscribers. Guys, please, if you are here and you like watching what we do, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's definitely going to help the magazine grow. That helps us grow. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't get spammed or blasted with a bunch of garbage. But please subscribe. That's going to make sure that YouTube says, hey, the Watercraft Journal is popular, and we're going to suggest the Watercraft Journal videos to more people. And that gets us more viewers, and that gets us more money, and I can produce better content and more frequent content. So please help us out by doing that. The last one that's super free is definitely like this video. If you haven't already, hit the like button. If you have already, open up another tab on on your browser, if you're on a desktop, and go ahead and like some more videos. We want to get those likes up. Guys, we get lots and lots of viewers. We really appreciate it. We love all the viewers who are coming in and watching the videos, but we want to get those likes up. All right. I know it's a popularity contest. I'm back in high school again. I feel like the zits are coming back on, but we definitely need to get those likes up. So if you like what we're doing, please hit the like button. Okay. And if you want to support the Watercraft Journal even a bit more, we have a link at the top of the chat here, or you can just go to thewatercraftjournal.com and go to our shop. And we do sell shirts and stickers. I'm wearing a Riva shirt, but we do have lots of different Watercraft Journal shirts of just the logo. We have some fun stuff that's like Sea-Doo's better than Yamaha, or Kawai's better than Sea-Doo, or whatever. We actually have every brand is better than the other one. So if you are brand loyal, go ahead and check out one of those. We got some fun other ones, and we're coming up with more designs too. So if you haven't already, please definitely, if you want to support us, go ahead and order a shirt. We really appreciate it. That helps us just a little bit to keep the lights on, keep our contributors paid, keep our event coverage, race coverage, and up-to-date news, industry news coverage going. So guys, really appreciate it. Let's see, that checks off a lot of stuff. Upcoming videos. We have our Mud Bug. It's going to be a big Green Hulk Mud Bug PWC rally video coming up. It's probably going to be closer to 20 minutes. It's going to be a really kind of fun lifestyle for people who've just never been, or if you are nostalgic for it and really want to get a lot more out of a Mud Bug video. We have something coming up that should be a lot of fun. And we actually paid a little extra for licensing to get some authentic Zydeco music. So if you're into that, it'll be fun. We really wanted to make it a little more authentic and a little bit more really slice of the environment. Okay, 2 more things that are going to excite a lot of people here, and I'm going to get a lot of questions about it, and I'm going to refer you back to the beginning of this video, is 2022 Yamaha and Sea-Doo. When are we going to hear about that? When are we going to hear about the 2022 Yamahas and Sea-Doos? I do not know when the non-disclosure agreements let up. All right. Typically, the non-disclosure agreements say, I can't say anything about it. All right. They invite me out to go test ride the new stuff. All right. I jump in the truck or drive out to Yamaha, or I go out to some neat lake that they've picked, or I get flown out by Sea-Doo to go ride the new skis. And it's some remote spot that we can't tweet about. We can't put up pictures on Facebook or Instagram. We got to clam up and just shut up and be good. And those non-disclosure agreements, I've never broken one because I like being invited back. So I'm pretty good about it. Unfortunately, there's some dealerships and there's some people who want to be cool and they want to be the first guys and they want to beat me, or they want to beat Jerry Gaddis. And quite frankly, it's only going to be me and Jerry Gaddis at Yamaha, and the Sea-Doo crowd is going to be a little bit bigger. But I'm test riding all the 2022 Yamahas and 2022 Sea-Doos by mid-August. Mid to late August, I'm going to have ridden everything. Chances are by the time I'm test riding the new Sea-Doos, the Yamaha information will be out. And then once I get home from Sea-Doo, they typically give me about a week or less than a week to get my videos and my pictures together and get that content up. So it might be that you guys know everything before the end of August. I'm not sure yet. I can pretty much guarantee that you're going to know everything before September 1st. That's for sure. But it's looking like everything's going to be out in the open the last week or two of August. So that's exciting. Sea-Doo is coming out with some stuff, and to be honest, and I'm really being honest here, I do not know what Sea-Doo is coming out with for 2022. To be honest, I really thought everyone should have just kept the colors and changed the stickers and just moved on. I'm pretty sure that's going to be most of Yamaha. But then Yamaha wants me to come out, so then they wouldn't be wasting my time or the money, to be honest. I keep saying to be honest, to be revealing, I should say. And wanting me and Jerry to come out, there's obviously something coming out for Yamaha too. So again, I really don't know. What I do know is what we're here to talk about today. Okay, so we've checked all that off. Let's get the red marker out so I don't duplicate anything. Subscribe, like the video, Mudbug video. I know what I forgot. Riva videos. I was at Riva Racing last week, and I got to spend quite a bit of time with Dave Bamdis and Mike Hodges, and I got into their installation facility, which is kind of a neat off-campus warehouse, and got to spend quite a bit of time with the Riva edition, which is a limited edition RXPX 350, and the GP 1800R 350, as well as the Riva edition Superjet. Unfortunately, I was not able to ride any of them because they were all sold. These were customer skis, and the last thing you want is to have me jump on your 350 horsepower, $30,000 limited edition. I don't know how much they are. I'm joking. But limited edition RXPX add on Riva's Lake and go wring the hell out of it. So unfortunately, before they created those units, they let me paw all over them and take a bunch of video and pictures. And so we're going to have videos coming out. We're going to have videos coming out on the 350 horsepower GP, the 350 horsepower RXPX, and I think the horsepower is up to like 130 for the Superjet. I might be wrong. I'll have to double check my math on that one and get my information right on the Superjet. But we got some really cool walk-arounds. We did them with Dave. The audio super sucks on a lot of them. We're trying to clean up the audio. And unfortunately, the audio for the Superjet didn't pan out. So I'm going to be recording voiceover for that one. That kind of was a bummer for me. All right. So that's what's coming out with the Watercraft Journal. And that's what's everything coming at you in the next coming weeks. So definitely hang tight and hit the subscribe button. Let's talk Kawasaki. All right. So we have to preface for a lot of the new people or people who are not really converts. The big thing is with Kawasaki that Kawasaki, I'm trying to be really level-headed about this. Kawasaki currently has a couple problems that are corporate culture. And it's not the product, it's corporate culture. And the biggest thing, and I know a lot of people are going like, well, they're outdated. And that's not necessarily true. If you look comparatively, the only thing that's really missing on that list is an operational brake deployment system, or a reverse bucket deployment system, which would be effectively a brake. All right, the first brakes, which IBR came out on Sea-Doos for 2009 models, and there was limited 2009 models, was the RXT, no RXTX, but RXT IS 255, and then the GTX IS 255 limited. All right, 2010 is when IBR went across the board, except for the RXPX and the RXP and the GTI series, which the GTIs were updated in 2012. All right. So we have a couple iterations of IBR, 2009, 2010, 2012, and they have been upgrading IBR since then. They're in the early stages of IBR. We had a lot of, I hate to say it, but we had a lot of failures with IBR. IBR became an industry standard that was less problematic by around 2014, 2015, everyone had come to grips with IBRs here to stay, and it really is a functioning, useful tool. Yamaha came out with the ride system, which was, they did everything legally in their power to not call it a brake, because they felt that that was going to get them in a lot of copyright trouble with Sea-Doo. So in 2015, Ride came out, and that was their true dual throttle system, meaning that you could put your right hand on your head and you could deploy the brake and reverse out of a dock space off the trailer with the left hand. It was a true dual throttle system. So why on earth is Kawasaki taking an additional 7 years over 2015 to introduce a brake system? Let's back up. There are people within Kawasaki who are not necessarily reticent to change, but they are reticent to dump a bunch of money into something, quite frankly, that is flash in the pan. Now, what is very peculiar and what completely negates my statement is that Kawasaki was the first to jump in with a 4-stroke stand-up. The SXR 1500, although being 551 pounds and being a battleship, is still a very successful stand-up. Some stand-up riders don't love it. Other performance-minded stand-up riders love it. It's very polarizing. But to that effect, the SXR 1500 is doing rather well. It's not selling as they had hoped for in 2018 when they introduced it, but it is garnered a pretty, I should say, a pretty vociferous fan base. So what's the real problem with Kawasaki currently is that their dealer network sucks. And their dealer network sucks because their dealer reps are non-existent. I know that the East Coast, and I'm talking from Florida all the way up to Delaware, their dealer reps are ghosts. They just don't show up. In fact, I had some major Florida dealers bemoan that their dealer rep didn't show up even before COVID. And now they're like, he'll never show up. And that is unfortunately really, really damaging to Kawasaki. The biggest thing is that a dealer rep shows up to a dealership and is trying to set goals and basically instill some enthusiasm in a dealer to get them motivated to sell the product. And their dealers or their dealer reps don't do that whatsoever. So you're looking at Riva Racing, Cycle Springs, Broward Motorsports, big dealers, big volume dealers who really have no incentive to move a lot of Kawasaki's, who do not feel a sense of brand affiliation. So they're going to go towards a Sea-Doo or Yamaha that do reward their dealers, that do have really good, who have cultivated really strong relationships with those dealerships. And that's just unfortunately the nature of the business. A dealer is just not going to be that motivated to move a product if they feel the corporate doesn't give a damn if they move it or not. And that's currently what's happening right now. Hopefully things will change. And we need to see a lot of people, quite frankly, flood Kawasaki saying, I want to be a dealer rep. I want to represent the brand. I want to work for Kawasaki and instill more enthusiasm, more energy into the brand. Sadly, there isn't any, and that's a big problem. People want to go work for Sea-Doo. People want to go work for BRP. People want to go work for Yamaha, even in everything that's going on with COVID and post-COVID, because we're frankly in a post-COVID world. They want to go work for Yamaha. They're excited by the brand. They're excited about the energy that those brands exude, so they want to be a part of it. That's not happening in Kawasaki. And we're talking from the motorcycle division all the way down. And that's scary news. thankfully, there's people still inside of Kawasaki who are very, very loyal, and they're very energetic, and they want to see these products grow and evolve and really take back a lot of market share. Currently, we're looking at 6.5 to 7% market share for Kawasaki. Kawasaki's been growing, but quite frankly, apart from the STX redesign, that's been just a rising tide raising all a rising tide raises all ships. And the demand has been kind of a nuclear fallout. People go, oh, I can't get a Sea-Doo or I can't get a Yamaha. Well, I guess I'll go buy a Cowie. And that's been unfortunate. Now, here's the thing. I do not have hard numbers. I do not have hard numbers for Kawasaki's annual production. What I do have are ballparks, okay? And the ballpark's been very, these ballpark numbers give me a lot of room to mess with. And what's been really surprising has been an evaluation of the Ultra platform. And particularly when compared to other supercharged runabouts. Full size, predominantly looking at full size, because the Ultra, in my opinion, regardless of the 310R model, I don't look at it as a direct competitor to the RX-PX 300 or the GP 1800R SVHO. My assessment with a lot of other people is that it is a full-size supercharged runabout, full-size three-seater, and should be compared to, say, the FX SVHO Limited and SVHO Cruiser, as well as the RX TX 300 or even the GTX Limited 300. That's the comparison pool that I'm going to pull from. So let's go back to the product itself. 2014 is the 2010, or excuse me, 2011. What we look at the change to the 300, all right, and we get the engine management software update, we get fly-by-wire, we get trim control, we get cruise control. 2014, we get the 310, and the changes to the 310 were important. It wasn't just, hey, let's give it an extra 10 horsepower. That is not the case. What happened in 2014 that is important to use as a watermark in this timeline is the updates to the cylinder head, the updates to the crankcase, and the updates to the cylinder case completely. The updates to the cooling circuits. We have twin cooling circuits. We have better intercooler. We have a more efficient TVS Eaton supercharger, and we look at a peak boost pressure of 16.8 psi. That is double the boost pressure, stock for stock, of Sea-Doo and Yamaha. So the Kawasaki is pressing a lot of compression into those cylinders. All right. So from 2014 until today, the estimated number of supercharged skis out in the wild that have been sold is anywhere from 32,000 units all the way up to 48,000. All right. I realize that's a big ballpark to play in. But even at its minimum of 32,000 units from 2014 until today, you got to look at the number of parts failures, recalls, and service requests or service bulletins. All right. The biggest things in regards to that is, okay, well, what are predominant failures? When people talk about failures of Kawasaki's, they'll throw out, they throw belts or the pistons fail. Well, interestingly enough, those were being predominantly found on the 250s, 260s, and 300s. All right. piston failures and belt failures, or throwing belts, and cooling failures, overheating, drowning the pistons in fuel, intercooler failures. These things were almost completely absolved by 2014. Was it completely cured? No. I'll never lie to you and say, oh, they had no problems after 2014. That's simply not the case. But we look at the service requests, all right, the actual log service hours on Kawasaki's, they were not seeing those high numbers of thrown belts and piston failures as we were previous to 2014. So we have a super chat. I want to get to it, but let me finish this one sentence, or this one thought. What we're seeing from 2014 until today, with this low estimate of 32, this high estimate of 48,000, is the lowest number of mechanical failures in a supercharged ski from the factory. That is something to be very, very proud of. All right. I'm going to get back to that, but I want to get to Matt's question. So Matt writes, Kevin, thank you for the articles and videos and live feed. I have learned a lot. After Engine Breather and Map Tuner X, what mods do you recommend for the GP1800R SVHO looking for more speed and acceleration? Right now, the best results with the Map Tuner X and the Breather, it's gonna be with a new impeller. All right. Right now, Green Hulk is seeing some really good numbers with their impeller tune. I strongly recommend going and checking out their impeller suggestions, and go to YouTube and go to Green Hulk Garage. He's already thrown out quite a bit of updates for that. They're inching towards the high 80s right now. So if you're looking at making that ski scream, I'm definitely recommending the impeller tune, or the impeller pitch that Greg and Jerry Gaddis are working on. I hope that helps you out, Matt. Okay. Yes, Steven, by supercharged skis, I mean all the 310X, 310R, 310X Special Edition, and the 310LX. So all supercharged models. Okay. So why do I bring that up? Is that the Ultra in its current state, all right, the supercharged Ultra, the 310 Ultra, is still a very competitive model. It's still a very competitive unit, all right? Right now, it still holds, and I had to double check, it still holds the highest number of offshore championships, okay? That, now, mind you, that's a little bit of a cheat because it has been unchanged for so long, hull design-wise, and it's still ranked as a 300 or a 310. Most people kind of lump that into the same machine, and that means it's 11 years. It's 11 years strong. If you go back to 2007, holy cow! Now we're talking quite a bit of time. But if you're looking at even 310 from 2014 up, it's still one of the winningest offshore models. Secondly, I want to make a point of this. I want to make a strong point of this, is that Eric Francis, all right, Florida's Eric Francis, is not the winningest racer out there on the water, okay? But Eric Francis is a very competitive racer. Eric Francis, without corporate support, zero corporate support, Eric Francis routinely, racing a Kawasaki, beat Yamahas and Sea-Doos to the point that he got national championships, and then the P1 Aqua X World Championship with zero corporate support. Okay, that ski was not a turbo ski. It was not equipped like Pastorello's team. Okay, he was not as fast as Pastorello either, but Eric Francis beat out everyone just being full of piss and vinegar and having an Ultra 310R underneath them. Okay? That is an unsung story. That is a big deal, especially when you had corporate supported Yamahas and Sea-Doos competing against him. And we're talking pre 2018 ST3 Sea-Doos and pre 2021 RXPX 300 Sea-Doos and before 2019 FX Ultra or FX Yamahas. He went out there and wiped the floor with people, and he did it for years. All right, I'm not trying to blow smoke up Eric's skirt by any means, but I'm telling you, it's a very competitive machine. It's a very competitive machine. Okay, so again, I bring this up because the Ultra is not a horse that needs to be put out to pasture. The Ultra needs very little to gain world dominance again. And so what do we know about 2022? What's going on here? Why are we all here? Why do we have hundreds of people watching this right now? Is because earlier this month, I was sent a series of text messages with a pretty high-resolution image of a bunch of people thumbing through some printouts of a future Kawasaki. And there was a race model, there was some touring models, there was a luxury model, and they had some very unique design features. One of the things that was missing on all of those pictures was a left-hand reverse lever. And if you zoomed in, and we have the article on the Watercraft Journal, you'll see that there is a very large redesigned pod, what they typically call a pod, or a trigger, or a throttle housing on the right-hand side. Well, back in 2019, when we were made aware of the redesigned STX, I started doing some digging, and I started getting pointed in the right direction. There were some people who were pointing me in the right direction. Some are inside of Kawasaki, some are outside of Kawasaki, to pay attention to some of Kawasaki's U.S. patents. And the first to come up was a U.S. patent for a folding rear seat. Well, we know the folding rear seat that now indexes on a track and stands up with a little kickstand is on the redesigned STX. All right, all three models of the redesigned STX. That was great. That was something that we knew about. We saw it in action, and that came to fruition. The second patent was for a thumb-style brake system. Now, this was a little unique, and we dug up all 11 pages. There's 11 pages, and it is all legalese, and it's all very obnoxious, impossible to read engineering jargon. But if you pull up the full-size images and you read it, you'll see that it is a true electronic throttle override system that does electronically deploy the reverse bucket in a braking fashion, in a braking system. Okay, the Kawasaki system does not deploy deeper than the ride plate. It simply diverts the thrust. All right, it does not provide the dragging feature that, say, the Sea-Doo IDR or IBR system does. Sea-Doo actually has a secondary clamshell that deploys below the ride plate and acts as like a parachute, as a source of drag. Now, the Kawasaki system does use some pre-existing parts. These are pre-existing parts that exist on a few of, I believe, the Brute and a couple other of the Kawasaki quads. And that is the same thumb style trigger. It's very ergonomically friendly. They are fly-by-wire, so it's not very heavy on the thumb. It's very easy to deploy. You're not getting a lot of resistance. You're not going to feel the tension on your hand. And it does override the throttle trigger. So everything is going to be on the right-hand side for the rider or the driver. Your cruise control, your cruise settings, and then your thumb, brake, and your trigger. It might seem like a lot, but that's what they're doing. And why are they doing this? Sure, to save a couple, a few cents here and there with some existing parts. But the big reason why is, quite frankly, is to totally circumvent any and all patents that exist for Sea-Doo and Yamaha. They do not want to pay any sort of royalties to Yamaha or Sea-Doo, so they're going to completely avoid the left-hand side. I see the reasoning for it. It's not my favorite, but I see the logic in it. You kind of have to play that corporate politics crap when it comes to these machines, and so they're putting everything on the right-hand side. It makes sense. So that patent has existed, and Kawasaki has owned it since April of 2017. That patent has been renewed every year, as you lawfully have to, has been renewed, and is now being placed into action for 2022. All right. I was told by no uncertain terms that anyone who currently owns an existing 300 or 310 might want to consider selling it. That's a very strong hint. Just saying, hey, if you own a 310 or a 300 and it's getting a little long in the tooth, you might want to consider selling it now. So that's pretty exciting. Let's see here. So 2022, I want to mark everything off so I don't know what, and I don't want to miss anything. All right. So what do we know? Brake and reverse system is coming. All right. The folding seat is also going to be on the Ultra. There's a couple other things that are going to be popping up on the new Ultra. New for the STX in 2020 was the waterproof phone case in the glove box. The waterproof phone case will be arriving on the Ultra as well. My prayer is that it doesn't eat up the glove box, because I loved the glove box on the previous Ultras, and I kind of hate the glove box on the STX. There's very, very little room to store more than your phone and maybe your wallet in the glove box on the STX. I would prefer a full-size glove box with a waterproof case if you're going to have it. But we know that the waterproof phone case will be arriving. I presume on the LX that you're going to be seeing a USB port so that you can put in a phone charger inside of the waterproof phone case. You can literally pull out your phone charger, out your 12 volt phone charger out of your car, shove it in the 12 volt socket, and charge your phone while you ride. So that'll be kind of cool. What is also staying is the 20.6 fuel cell that still makes the Ultra Kawasaki the largest fuel capacity of any personal watercraft, which is awesome. And you're going to and it should be retaining, if not gaining more, actual storage, usable storage. Right now, the Kawasaki Ultra is the leader of the pack when it comes to usable storage, and that's at 56 gallons. That's massive. That is massive. That's a massive amount of storage, and it's looking like the new Ultra will be retaining that, if not gaining a little bit more. If it gains any more, it'll be in the the decimal section. It won't be much more. I do not expect them getting any more, but we'll see. All right. So there's one more thing that I was made aware of, and it was only within the last couple days. And this is something really, really exciting. And I did not know about this, and it wasn't in the article. And I have something to tell you about the article after all of this, because it's a little bit of a bait and switch. And I'm gonna be totally upfront and honest with everyone about that. But I want to get the cool news out first, and that is, I was told to pay very, very close attention to the new ZX10R and the ZX10RR for a lot of reasons. And the Ninja ZX 10R besides a lot of new styling cues. So if you were to pull up, in fact, I actually have it on a window here. Let me actually scroll up just so everyone gets a nice view. And I'm going to bring it on this screen, this side. My Bluetooth mouse is sleeping, and I don't want to piss it off any more than it is. All right. The ZX10R, and this is the RR edition. This is the supercharged 300 horsepower edition. The styling cues are going to be very familiar on the new Ultra. So if you like the look of the 310RR, or not 310, excuse me, the ZX10RR, you might be looking at it with the 310 Ultra. Second of all, if you really like the ZX10, pay attention to the dashboard. This is a Photoshop version, and I'm not going to zoom in because I'm not supposed to be putting this in an article. But that very well may be what we're looking at dashboard-wise, all right? Because the Ninja's CFT screen, all right, that is their high-contrast full-color dashboard, their high-contrast color screen, excuse me, is going to be on the new Ultra. It is pretty stinking cool. So that might be something really neat to look at. Now, a full digital dash, full color digital dash, high contrast digital dash. So what's nice about that is being off the motorcycle is you're going to be seeing actual good contrast. It won't be blurring out, and it won't be glaring out. My gosh, I was looking for the word. All right. So that's really good news. It's not a touch screen. You're not going to be going boop, boop with your fingers. It'll have control pads. But on the motorcycle, it's got Bluetooth. All right. On the motorcycle, it has a lot of high-end features that I highly doubt are going to make its way onto the 310. Now, because of the speaker system, and the speaker system now being Bluetooth capable, the Jet Sound speaker system, it very well may be possible that you're going to be seeing a little bit of Bluetooth interaction on the screen. If that happens, that's going to put the Kawasaki up at GTX limited levels, and that's really bitching. If that's the case, I'm going to be super stoked for Kawi, because that's leapfrogging Yamaha, and that's really putting them way up there on the accessibility range. If that happens, I'm not promising that because I don't have any confirmation as to some of the functionality of the CFT screen off the Ninja. But I was told they're pulling that screen off that sport bike and putting it on the new Ultra. So that's freaking rad. All right. All you guys are like, I want to put the new limited screen on my RXTX or my GTX 170 or my Fish Pro. Cowie's jumping on it right now. So that's really, really cool. All right. So we talked about the screen. We talked about the Ninja. So let me cross those off. What's staying the same? What is staying the same is all the stuff that makes the Ultra so badass. The gas tank, the storage, the 310 horsepower, 1498 cc, 4-cylinder, 4-stroke with the Eaton TVS supercharger and the KMC engine management system is all carrying over. The hull is carrying over, which is one of the best damn hulls on the planet. The intake grate, the pump, the ride plate, all the guts that make the Ultra badass are carrying over. So anyone who's got performance parts on their Ultra currently could, I presume, effectively, unless, I mean, maybe a cold air kit. I don't know if the redesigned deck interferes, but my understanding is that all the performance parts that exist are going to be completely applicable to the new 2022 Ultra. So what I'm really jazzed about. And now, mind you, for you guys who know me and you've seen my videos and I've talked about it endlessly, or if you've followed my career in the last 15 years, I'm a shill for Cowie. I bleed Cowie green. I grew up on 440s and 550s. So I've been desperately cheering Kawasaki to build these skis, to get competitive and to meet their competitors. It's taking a while to get there. I'm not lying. And I can't curb that. But a lot of you guys, everyone watching, I know a lot of you guys are like, I would buy a Kawasaki tomorrow if there was a 310 powered STX, if there was a GP or an RXPX competitor. This isn't that. I don't think it is. It's an RXTX or a FX competitor. And in my opinion, it very well may wipe the floor. Is it going to eat more gas than the Yamaha? You bet your sweet butt it's going to eat more gas than the Yamaha. Is it going to have more bells and whistles than the Sea-Doo? Probably not. Sea-Doo is going to introduce, well, they got satellite speedometers and they've got Bluetooth control. They're probably going to let you make a phone call from your freaking Sea-Doo in a year or two. And I don't know who would want to do that, but whatever. They're going to push the envelope. They're going to push it, because they're not going to let anyone try to catch up. I understand. That's Sea-Doo's philosophy. They have a really good corporate culture when it comes to, we want to be the tip of the spear. Awesome. Here's the thing you got to be excited about with Kawasaki. And I was going to be mean about this. Well, I didn't want to be mean about this, but here we go. Kawasaki doesn't delaminate hulls. Kawasaki hulls don't oil can. Kawasaki hulls don't crack because of stress. They are still fiberglass, SMC fiberglass. They're still gel coated, 100% repairable. Their transoms don't break. Their pump tunnels don't crack. They do not have carbon seals that get misaligned from jumping and start sinking. They have 4 motor mounts. So the engine mounts or motor mounts don't get misaligned. And then the carbon seals fail and the the ski sinks. Kawasaki's aren't cracking cylinder heads. Kawasaki's are not breaking valves. Kawasaki's still have high strength steel sleeves and are not powder coated or electroplated. And so you start losing compression out of the cylinders. Kawasaki's are not burning up clutches in the superchargers. Kawasaki's are not having recalls on their kill switches. Kawasaki's are not having recalls on their dashes. If you flash an ECU on a Kawasaki, the Kawasaki dash will read over 71 miles an hour. There's a lot of things that are happening with Yamaha and Sea-Doo that simply Kawasaki do not. And I want to make that a point because there's a lot of Kawasaki guys who are like, oh, burn. Oh, Kevin's laying it out. I'm making a point here. All right. Are they not getting pushed to the limit? I disagree. All right. I want you to look at the Kawasaki riders, Gunther. I want you to look at some of those Cowie guys. I'll tell you right now, there's a gentleman watching this video right now, Gunther. His name is Billy Duplessis. And I joked, and Billy's a friend of mine. His wife, Gina, has just shy of 500 hours on her 310R. And I'll tell you what, they have done some of the hardest, most badass riding I've seen on that ski. You want to talk about Abaco and Bimini Islands. You want to talk about the Keys. You want to talk about open ocean riding. All right. I think they've gone through a couple of belts, maybe 2 or 3 belts no piston failures, no injector failures, no fuel rail leaks. All right. I know, and they're not having the failures. They're just not. I don't know what to tell you. So, again, and I'm not trying to say Sea-Doo's junk. I'm not trying to say Yamaha's junk. I'm saying Kawasaki is slow to the game because they're not going to make moves. I know corporate enough that they're not going to make moves that puts them on thin ice. Their hull materials are not super thin and flex or made out of polypropylene plastics. They're not made out of acrylic and require new repair processes. There's some pretty old school stuff going on with these skis. So if you tell me that next year we're going to have an Ultra that makes 310 horsepower, has the most horsepower of anyone on the dealer floor, has a 20.5 gallon tank, more fuel capacity than any other ski on the water, that's got 56 gallons of storage, more actual usable storage than any other machine on the water, that has a Bluetooth capable, a one belt, 479 hours. Thank you, Billy. You're the best. I love you. All right. Wait. 531 hours? Oh, come on now. And then we got Pat with 410 hours on a 300, not even a 310. Come on now. By the way, Jay Farmer, thank you for the super chat. Jay, you didn't have a question, but I'll tell you. Jay's got one here. Okay, Jay asks, after waiting 10 months to get my unit, the dealer told me they performed the IDF recall. 30 minutes into my first ride and the unit is dead. How should I go about getting my money back? Get it fixed and sell it. The dealer won't give you your money back, Jay. I'm sorry. They won't. They're going to fight you tooth and nail. Guys, I'm sorry. Jay, I'm really, really sorry. The dealer will not get you your money back. Sea-Doo will not get you your money back. If anything, they'll try to replace your unit if you want. What I would suggest doing is getting your ski fixed, going on a Facebook Marketplace and selling it for a premium, which you will, and buy a new Cowie. No, I'm joking. All right. But I don't have good news when it comes to that. I apologize. So, but if you're going to tell me that that a new Ultra is going to have a full digital dash that's Bluetooth capable and an on-water brake system, guys, I'm telling you right now, that Cowie is going to look real good to a lot of people. Every Cowie comes with a folding swim step. You got to pay extra for that on a Sea-Doo. RXPX, you got to pay $400 for a back seat and wait a month or two to get one. So, I'm sorry. The Cowie is going to be winning in my book. Now, here's where it gets fun. People go, well, you can't mod a Cowie. Okay, call it K-Speed. K-Speed for $800, less than $800 American, will give you an ECU reflash, a new ride plate instead of the pump wedge, and what's the third part? Pump wedge, intake grate, ride plate, ECU reflash, 78 miles an hour. Most people, 78 miles an hour is screaming. And here's the other thing about that, guys. That's 78 miles an hour in the ocean. This isn't 78 miles an hour on a flat lake in, a test lake, like Riva's test lake. That's literally a foot above sea level, super glass, all right, in a straight line. We're talking a foot of chop, 2 feet of chop, and all of a sudden, that punk is going 77, 76, sustained. I'm telling you, dude, I'm telling you, this is the biggest sales pitch I've ever made for Cowie in a video. I'm telling you. Oh, we got super chats. Okay. Anthony comes up with almost $7. What you know about jet ski, buddy? Tell me everything. What sort of systems do you think work for rental operations? Anthony, you need to clarify your question because your question isn't clear to me. KDH writes, just tuning in, been looking forward to this one this week. This week. I'll have to watch it in the morning. Oh, sorry. All right. Oh, Mark writes. Okay, Mark, this isn't a super chat. Looking for systems to control rental machines. Oh, are you mean? Okay. You know what, Anthony? I don't know enough about the systems used for controlling rentals to comment on it. I really don't. I apologize. I just don't know enough about them. I've heard of systems that they put them in limp mode, or they reduce throttle acceleration. They back off the throttle curve. They keep them within an operating distance. I just don't know enough about them, Anthony. Anthony, I apologize. I just don't know enough about them. I haven't done enough due diligence, just primarily because I never cared enough to learn enough about or learn a lot about rentals. So I apologize. I'm kind of ill-informed on that one. So, all right. So let me completely bury the lead on something about the article that we published last Monday. And that is the pictures that we published. The pictures that we published, and I was told that these were an iteration of the Ultra. Were not. Those were one of 2 or 3 test designs for the redesigned 2020 STX. After the article went live, I got a very lovely note saying, thank you for helping, bang the drum for Kawasaki. I'm just going to let you know that those pictures were a voted down or a less popular design for the STX. But then I was told, if you want to know what the Ultra looks like, go ahead and check out the ZX10R. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went over and started checking out the bike that you see on my screen right there. So that's the information I'm really relaying to you, is that the pictures in the article are not of the Ultra. They are of the old STX. And if you want to know what the new Ultra looks like, go check out the motorcycle. So that is, oh, wow, I talked an hour straight on this. So anyhow, that is everything that I've got for Cowie, for the 2022 Cowies. When will we find out about these? When will we see them? Kawasaki's typically a month and a half to 2 months after Sea-Doo, which, knowing them, is probably going to make the first public reveal early October. I won't be able to ride one probably until the beginning of next year. That's unfortunate, but what Cowie does a couple things differently. Again, it's corporate culture. First is that they don't put the media on pre-production units. They want us on production units. Yamaha's like, yeah, go ahead. They put us on pre-production. Sea-Doo has put us on a few pre-production units before. I've actually broken a couple pre-production Sea-Doos, like broken them, like I've hurt them. I'm a little proud of a couple of them, but not so much the other ones. Story for another day. But the production cycle for Kawasaki is such that it would put me at the beginning of, or it would put them at the beginning of the year. So I think the earliest I'd be able to ride any of the new Ultras would likely be probably the end of January or up to middle of February. So unfortunately, I just won't be able to give you guys hands-on testing, hands-on reviews of these machines unless Kawasaki has totally jumped the shark and says, hey, you want to come out to California in October? We got some stuff for you to check out. If that happens, holy crap, you sign me up. But until that happens, I don't know. So let's go over, we addressed the super chats. Let's go over the questions. We've gone over everything here. And if we have more super chats, I'll skip ahead and get to you guys and give you guys priority service. So, speaking of super chats, thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. All right. So let's get the Bluetooth mouse going, and we're going to go all the way up to the questions here. All right. And we got our Australian friends. Good day from the future. I love it. All right. Let's see here. I bleed green. Yeah, baby racing. I bleed green. Victoria, Australia. Outstanding. I know it's like 9 or 10 a.m. for you guys. So good morning. I appreciate you guys tuning in on your Monday morning. All right. Newbie with PWC at 45. I got a two-seater Spark, or I got 2 Spark 3 up with IBR. The family loves it. Thanks for keeping us informed about the sport. My pleasure, Jean Sebastian. My pleasure. I'm glad you're tuning in. Thanks again. Finally caught one live. I'm usually on the way home from the lake at this time. Well, I'm glad you joined us. Thank you, RJ. All right. RJ writes, Kevin, you say hulls are typically used for about 8 years before redesign. Wouldn't this mean the Spark is due for an all-new redesign in the next few years? Yes. In fact, I have talked with a few people about whether Spark will be redesigned for 2022. I think we'll see it in 2023. I think they're going to go 9 years. Quite frankly, because the Sparks are selling and because of the cost of molds. But then again, there's some really neat stuff happening for 2022. So that very well may be it. Or I know of one thing that's going on with Sea-Doo, and I don't know if it's actually Sea-Doo that's doing it or they're going to do it through a different brand. But I know that BRP is introducing a lightweight, cost-effective. I'm getting a drink, guys. I apologize. I know they're introducing a lightweight, cost-effective Spark style pontoon boat. And it's going to have steering from like a GTI, and it'll have IBR, and it'll be a pontoon boat, and it'll be very modular in that it'll be one pontoon boat, but you can have like a center console style. You can have like a party barge style with couches and a table and things like that. There'll be a fishing style one that's going to be in like darker, drabber colors. So I don't know if that's coming out through the Sea-Doo brand or if it's going to be through a different branch of BRP. But I know those pontoon boats are coming out, and they'll have jet drives. They'll all be BRP Sea-Doo jet drives. So that might be something kind of unique or something different. Because the pontoon market is huge. So we'll see. All right. Michael Glenn writes, I got a 2020 GTX Limited on a good deal. Is it possible to put the screen on it for 2021? Also, what is the best way to refuel when out in the water? I don't want to spill fuel. Okay. The screen update is a massive pain in the ass. And I don't mean that. I mean that to discourage you from doing it, number one. Number two, it's not to disparage Sea-Doo by any means, but the update requires modifying the wiring harness. And if you just absolutely want to kiss any chance of warranty goodbye, you can go ahead and start cutting on your wiring harness. I don't recommend that whatsoever. It is not a plug-and-play swap, and it requires dismantling a lot of your top deck. My understanding is that it's like a 9-hour job without modifying the wiring harness. So I apologize if this is pouring rain on your parade, but seriously, don't consider it. Just if you got to have that dashboard so bad, go get a 21 or a 22. But don't start cutting on your. Please don't start cutting on your wiring harness. I really don't recommend it. All right. Yeah, baby writes. Have I ever had a conversation with Minoru Kanamori? Recently, not recently. I've talked to Kanamori a lot. Kanamori and I actually were teammates in racing the loosely teammates, racing the Long Beach to Catalina race in 2015. No, it was 2014. It was 2014. And we did it on brand new 310s. And Kanamori did it on a bone stock ski and got like second place or third place. And no, he got second place. And the only reason he got second place was that he was running out of fuel. Excuse me. Wow. He was running out of fuel and was literally limping it in on fumes. Guy, I think he got second or third place. Kanamori is a monster. He is a monster. The guy you want to talk to. No, I'm joking. There's another guy who works with Kanamori, and if you get a couple beers into him, woo, he'll tell you everything. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Billy writes, sad to hear people don't want to work for Cowie. I heard from my dealer that when he visited the Kanamori, when he visited the Kawasaki's facility, it was absolutely amazing. I've actually not toured the Lincoln facility. That's the plant. I used to hang out at the Tustin headquarters. They've moved to Irvine, and I haven't been to the new Irvine building, which I really like to do. But I have not been to Lincoln, and I really want to go to Lincoln. Because one of the neatest things in the Lincoln facility is that Kawasaki, believe it or not, builds subway cars. And you can like legit see them building like side-by-sides and quads and jet skis and subway cars. And they're all lined up. They're all there. It's really kind of cool. All right. Randy writes, hi, Kevin. Just picked up a 2021 Wake Pro 230. Question is, do I need to wait for the full 10-hour break-in before towing anyone? Oh, no. You can start towing it. Start towing at 3 hours. Start towing at 5 hours. You're fine. Start towing. Tow. Because you're not going full throttle. You're not screaming with the thing pinned wide open going 60, 67 miles an hour. You're fine. Tow it. Take your kids out. Have a good time. All right. Steven writes, just sold my GP 1800R for a 2022 Kawasaki. He says the GP 1800R felt like I was riding a pebble skipping across the water versus the Kawasaki Ultra. Well, there's no way that you bought a 2022 Ultra unless you bought an STX, but they're not taking orders for them yet because they're not even in their fourth quarter. So something doesn't sound right to me. Let's see here. All right, hit up Jay Farmer. I apologize again. You're not getting your money back, buddy. I think you should. You'll get more money back by selling it on Facebook. Sea-Doo Scotty writes, I bought a 160 horsepower LX a month ago, and it's an amazing ski. I missed some stuff from my Sea-Doo, but loving the Cowie more on each ride. Yeah, the Ultra LX. Oh, here's another thing I forgot. Is that the Ultra LX, which is the naturally aspirated 160 horsepower Ultra, is finally going to get the fly-by-wire in an engine management system that exists on the other stuff. It just hasn't had it since. It doesn't have eco mode, doesn't have cruise assist, doesn't have cruise control, doesn't have trim, doesn't have all the neat stuff that came with that. And it's finally expected to have all that. So finally. All right. Juan writes, do you think Yamaha will ever go back to old school fiberglass and gel coat? No. There's only a handful of machines that are SMC fiberglass. Superjet, the I believe the small or the other EXs that are not the EXR, because the EXR is Nano XL2, and the rental VX. My understanding is the rental VX. The VXC is SMC fiberglass. Everything's painted. Nano 1 and Nano 2 are still fiberglass, but it's the resin. The resin is what makes it so thin. All right. It allows it doesn't fill up and thicken up and harden up like SMC fiberglass does. All right. Oh yeah, Unknown Hero. Have you heard or have a rough idea when it's going to be announced? The Kawasaki is going to likely be October, and Sea-Doo and Yamaha are going to be before the end of August. My understanding. All right. Oh, TX writes, maybe they'll have an RR version that's skimmed down with all the storage and fuel capacity, just half of it. It'd be hard to cut the weight. Where are you going to cut the weight from? And a skimmed down version is currently what you got. I don't know where you're going to cut the weight out of. So that's a tough one. Mark writes, Kevin, next time you get to Louisiana, I'd like you to ride my 310 with the KSP Stage 1 kit. I would love to. What year is your 310? I'm curious. All right. Mitch writes, skip ahead. Shoot. Shoot. Mitch, question is related to Yamaha for 2022. My dealer thinks they will give the FX the same tech upgrades as what the VX got last year: integrated speakers, waterproof glove box, DC outlet. Do you agree? Yes. Yeah, you're gonna get the speaker system. I've leaked that out for months, and you're gonna get the plug system that is in the glove box. But it's not going to be. You're not going to. I really don't see a redesign of the FX. Even if they might redesign the hood or redesign some of the fairings just to kind of give it a little bit of, a little bit of schmutz, a little bit of love. I know schmutz does not mean love, but that's for my Yiddish friends who are watching this. Yeah, I'm a real mensch. But anyway, let's keep going. Mark writes, I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I live close to you. Who is the Kawasaki PWC dealer near me? Tim's Ford, and then Castle. Castle's up towards me. They're in Madison. I live in Hendersonville. I get all my Kawasaki's from Castle. I like the guys in the service department at Castle. If you ever go to Castle Power Sports, on the mezzanine in the showroom, you'll see a bunch of vintage motorcycles. And when I say a bunch, I mean like 24 vintage motorcycles. And it turns out they're not owned by the dealership. They're owned by a good friend of mine named Trey Beatty, who used to race for Suzuki. And Trey lives here in Hendersonville and has an 800 horsepower Hemi 67 Coronet. And he and I hang out and talk, and we've argue over. I'm a big fuel injection guy. He's a big carburetor guy. We argue back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm building my Charger just to spank his Coronet, so we'll see what happens. All right. So with the new Ultra news, no chance of an STXR. Dude, I think the STXR. Here's what hurts, and everyone's going to hear like that horn sound from The Price is Right when you get it wrong. Bum 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 bum. I don't see the STXR happening. I don't, unless the corporate culture inside of Kawasaki radically changes. I don't see it happening. I just don't. I really don't, and it bums the hell out of me. But I don't. There's not enough young people in Cowie who see the value in it. I've asked and asked and asked. I've talked and brought it up. I've exhausted these people, and they just kind of shrug their shoulders and they're just like, "Yeah, but we don't really want to." I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, we just don't see the market for it." I go, "You don't see the market for the RXPX or the GP 1800R. You don't see that? You guys don't see the money that Yamaha and Sea-Doo are printing? You don't see that? What are you talking about?" So I don't have an answer. Now, if we all gathered in front of Kawasaki's like Irvine offices and like reenacted January 6th and like raided the offices with torches and pitchforks and started like jumping on people's desks and screaming for that ski, besides being arrested, they might actually build it. So who knows? All right. If they do all these updates and make it in the burnt orange, we will see Kevin's O face. That's funny. And you're not wrong, because I think that would be the jet ski that I buy. Like, I would buy it. I would own it. And what sucks is it would make me the biggest hypocrite on the planet, because I would be buying the first year of something, and I ardently beg people not to buy the first year of anything. So yeah, I would be a screaming hypocrite over that. All right. Steve writes, "Kevin, can you say what magazines you worked for before? I remember your name. If you can't, that is all right. You do an amazing job all around." Oh, Steven, sure, no problem. There's no problem me saying so. Let's see. The first magazine I was ever published in was Surfing Magazine, and that was in 2000, or it wasn't even. It was 1999, and it was one article, and it was a tiny, like 200-word article with a photograph, not of me, but a photograph that I took for Surfing Magazine. And I don't even know if I still have a copy of it. I sure hope I do. Crap. Then I had a very small article published in Auto Week, and that was a big deal because my dad subscribed to Auto Week and he got to see that, and that was cool. Then I went to go write for what was then Primedia, and Primedia owned Hot Rod, Carcraft, Automobile, Motor Trend, Mopar Muscle, High Performance Pontiac. I mean, they owned like 32 different car titles. And I interviewed in the Anaheim building. I thought I was, because I was going to college in Long Beach. I was from Seal Beach. I didn't think I was going anywhere. And I interviewed in the Anaheim building, and they immediately were like, "Oh my gosh, get this stupid Mopar ginger out of here and get him at Mopar Muscle Magazine." So I flew out to Mopar Muscle Magazine, and I didn't even interview. They just offered me the job, and I went to go work for Mopar Muscle out in Tampa, Florida. But while I was at Mopar Muscle, I ended up writing simultaneously. I was an associate editor at Mopar Muscle Magazine. I became the simultaneous associate editor for Corvette Fever magazine, which I had no place writing for Corvettes. I knew nothing about Corvettes. I was the biggest imposter. I had no place writing for Corvettes. It was terrible. But I wrote for Corvette Fever. I had some stuff published in Vet magazine. I had some stuff published in High Performance Pontiac magazine. I had 2 articles published in CarCraft, which was a big deal because I was a big CarCraft reader. But then after that, I went to go work for CN Publishing, which was Cycle News, and they put me as editor of Personal Watercraft Illustrated, and I was there. Until January 1st, 2010. And that was 3 weeks after my first daughter was born. It was a rough one. But they closed up shop. They closed up the whole damn thing. And so I wanted to start a jet ski fishing website called Jet Angler. And I brought a really good friend of mine in named Jeff Faulkner. And Jeff was a hardcore fisherman, and I was the big jet skier guy, but I didn't really know my head from a hole in the ground when it came to fishing. So that was kind of like a chocolate peanut butter thing. And we built 2 skis and had them at the Fred Hall show, had them at the LA Boat Show, had them at the Long Beach Boat Show. We were involved with Huntington Beach Honda and a guy named Mark Samuelix. And Mark's a really good guy. In fact, Mark actually is responsible for naming the Watercraft Journal. Fun fact. But give me a second. But unfortunately, Jet Angler wasn't going anywhere. So I went to go work for a company called what was then Power TV, but became Power Auto Media. And I ran and relaunched like 4 different magazines. I was over Street Muscle magazine. I was over Chevy Hardcore magazine. Again, I had no place being there. They kept putting me on Chevy stuff. I was over Rod Authority, which was like a hot rod, rat rod magazine. And what was the 4th one? Corvette Online. I helped out with. LS. The stupid LS magazine. What was the name of the LS magazine? They dissolved it. They lumped it in with the Chevy one. But not LS Tech. Crap. LS1? I can't remember it was LS TV. It was called LS TV. So stupid. It was a website called TV. But I ran those 4, and I was miserable working there, and I learned very quickly I was too much of an a-hole to work for anybody, and I had to go work for myself. So we moved out to Tennessee, got out of California. I launched what was called Watercraft Performance magazine, and we had an angel sponsor who was kind of footing the bill for the first 7, 8 months. And the money ran dry, and they were like, "You got to pay us back right now." And I'm like, "I don't have the money. We just started." And they got real crappy with me, and they tried to fire me and tried to run the magazine without me, whatever. And lawyered up, and they laughed and were like, "Kevin's the magazine." So I migrated Watercraft Performance magazine into the Watercraft Journal, and then started Watercraft Journal. And then about 2 years later, we launched Mopar. Well, we had to change the name because Chrysler asked me to. But we launched what was then called Directly Connected magazine. And for you old car guys, you might remember Direct Connection magazine. And that was kind of a spin on it. Well, when I got licensed by Chrysler, they asked me to change it to Mopar Connection magazine, which I was happy to do. And we changed it, and I had the licensing to do it and all the legalese and legal rigmarole that required me to do so. So we now own the Watercraft Journal and Mopar Connection magazine. And that's a long answer to a very short question. All right, moving on. Holy cow, we got a lot more questions. Canamori is a legend. He does have a ridiculous sense of humor. You'll never get a picture of him without him making a silly face. Let's see here. Hey, man, I've been watching you since March when I put my deposit down on GP 1800 SVHO. Finally got it on Friday. I was disappointed during the break. Once that was over, wow, worth the wait. Well, I'm glad. Oh, during the break-in. Yeah, hey, I'm glad you finally got it. Pacific Law John. I'm glad you got it, man. I'm glad you enjoy it, too. So that's very cool. All right, Kevin, you need to do a Sunday topic on stand-up skis. They are starting to gain more popularity again. Mark, very good question. The funny thing about it is that they never fell out of favor. The hardcore kept the torch lit. Stand-up skis. I'm such a terrible stand-up rider. Maybe it's an inner ear thing or an equilibrium thing. The only stand-up ski I felt that I was very good at was the SXR 800. That ski I felt very comfortable riding. I would do the buoys I would cut the buoys at Body Beach and Havasu on the 800 and feel confident doing it. Except for the day that Chris McCluggage showed up, and then I felt like a horse's ass. I was riding and I was very proud of myself. I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm kicking ass. And then Chris shows up and he goes, oh, hey, man, you learning how to ride? Oh. And I just went, wah, wah, wah. No, Chris, I've been doing this since I was 9 years old. I'm just not good. Oh, sorry, man. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's my relationship with Chris McCluggage. Yeah. Imagine just shooting hoops and then Michael Jordan shows up. He's like, oh, you're learning how to play ball? And you're like, yeah, I was on my high school varsity team. That's how it felt. Anyway. All right. Anthony writes, on my 2018 RX-TX, I'm debating between going free flow exhaust or through hull exhaust. Do you have any preference on which way to go? Yes, I've done actually a couple videos on that. I am not a big fan of drilling holes in your ski because eventually you're going to want to sell your ski. And people don't want a jet ski with extra holes in it. So do the free flow exhaust. By the way, I am working with a couple people to very scientifically prove that free flow exhaust flows better, actually flows exhaust out of the ski better than the free flow through hull exhaust. Excuse me. So I believe very strongly that the exit out of the pump tunnel actually helps extract exhaust gases out better than the through hull exhaust. So that's a long story. All right. Christopher writes, think Kawasaki would come out with another Super Chicken? Never, ever. It's fun, but never. All right. Okay. Jesse. Hi, Kevin. My friend just got a 2021 Sea-Doo GTI 170 a week ago. We ran it on the leak and notice it leans to the left. We called the dealer service department, and they told us it is normal. I've never noticed it leaning to the left, ever. I love the GTI 170. Never noticed it leaning. I don't know what to tell you. That's weird. All right. Donald writes, buying my first ski. Who do you recommend the FXO? Oh, okay. Let me try this again. Donald writes, buying my first ski. Which do you recommend? The FX Cruiser HO versus the SVHO. I want a ski that will give a little thrill, but give me enough time on the water to tour around while with the lady friends. Get an HO. I always recommend getting an HO. I always, especially for first-time owners, get an HO. You're not going to have the service requirements. You're not going to have the break-in period. You're going to get so much more fuel mileage out of it. It's fun. It gets out of its way. It's an enjoyable ski. You can run 87 octane in it without worrying about it. And you can run 87 octane with ethanol in it. Everyone's scared of non-ethanol or running ethanol fuel versus non-ethanol fuel. You can run ethanol, 8, 9, 10% ethanol, 87 octane in it. You'll be fine. Get the HO. Get the HO. Donald, get the HO. All right. And Mike C says, I recommend it because you can run the 87. Good. Yeah, I've ridden rental VX cruisers with the TR1, too small of an engine. Itty bitty, gets out of its way. The HO is a lot better. It's a 1.8 liter, makes 180 horse. You'll like it. All right. Okay. Mike C writes, I have a GP 1800R with that motor. Okay, he's continuing with that same thing. Mitch writes, do you recommend the Riva rear exhaust kit for the FX Cruiser HOs? No. I want something that'll improve the sound but not increase the loudness. No. You'll get drone. You want the resonator. You don't want the sound. It'll wear on you. It'll physically make you tired. I'm not joking. The drone will wear you out. After a couple hours of riding around with the drone, you will physically feel tired. Yeah, don't. It would hurt your stock sound. In fact, I got this little. Oh, it's a mosquito. Screw you, mosquito. Die. Okay, got him. No. That's it. Thank you for being frank. All right. If you want a good sounding ski, get the Kawasaki 310. I'll tell you what, dude. There is no sound on earth quite as visceral as a Kawasaki 310 completely pinned wide open throttle and hitting a wake and hearing it ring out. And then you got to chop the throttle or you're going to hurt it. But hearing that supercharger scream in your face underneath your legs at full throttle it's so visceral. It's so wild. It's really, really trick. Okay. All right. So any news on 2022 models production-wise? Are they on schedule? Yes, they are not off schedule. In fact, they're early. They're trying really hard to boost up the numbers right now. I will tell you something interesting. I've got for you Sea-Doo guys, I got something to tell you. Crap. Let me write it down so I don't forget. Okay. I got some neat stuff coming out. It's just industry information that I want to share. This is kind of fun. So Sea-Doo pulled a rabbit out of their hat in the last couple months. All right. When it comes to production runs, here's what typically happens. All right. This is typical. This is not what did not happen right now. Did not happen last year because everything's atypical right now. But typically, this is what happens with dealerships and the manufacturer. So ride this wave with me. At the onset of the fourth quarter, the manufacturers have a dealer meeting. And the dealer meeting is an opportunity for the dealership to sit down with the OE and to return and report, using some military terms. And what they do when they return and report is to say, we sold X amount of skis or units, whatever it might be. We have demand that exceeds or is less than the number that we sold. So let's adjust next year's purchase, all right? Because the dealership literally purchases the units. So let's say I'm a dealership and I go to Sea-Doo's dealer meeting and I say, hi, I'm Kevin Shaw from Kevin's dealership or Kevin's Sea-Doo dealership. And we sold 100 Sea-Doos last year. Oh, that's great. Good work, Kevin. Man, you did awesome. Well, what's the demand like? Oh, man, we still got people asking for units. So I want to order an extra 20 units. And at the dealer meeting, the Sea-Doo rep will be like, hey, 20 seems like a lot. Let's bump it down to 12. Okay, fine. All right. So I'm getting 112 units for next year. All right. That's my increase. Or 110. Let's make it a round number. So I'm up 10%. All right. Instead of 20%, I'm up 10%. So they say, okay, Kevin's up 10% over, or he's ordering another 10% over last year. So for this coming year, I would order 110 units. And those 110 units would show up typically in waves. They'd show up every 2 to 3 months. Okay. Interestingly enough, a couple dealerships, high volume dealers, these not every dealer, but some high volume dealers got a phone call about a month ago. And Sea-Doo said, hey, so we bumped up some production. And because you guys are such high volume dealers, we're going to send you another 4 units, another 8 units, another 12 units, another 10 units, or another X amount of units to sell. Do you think you could sell them? Every dealer was like, hell yes, I can sell them. Get them out here as fast as possible. So there's some high volume dealers, I hate to say it, in Florida that I know of personally. I don't know if any other ones like Lake Ozarks or New York or whomever, California, Arizona, Texas, who got a bump of extra 21 models. Okay. That means that production is not only on schedule for 2022, but they're working around the clock. Okay. And they're trying to fulfill all those lost units. Now, here's the funny thing. Why did Sea-Doo do that? Well, what was the news out of Yamaha? The news was that they were canceling 10, 15% of their total production run for 2021. So suddenly there's dealers who are stuck without 10 or 15%, some of them upwards to 30% of their desired models to sell, their desired flooring. Okay, that's the word, is flooring. So Sea-Doo comes in like Superman. Dun, 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 here's the missing 10 or 15 or 30% that you're out. So suddenly they rack those numbers up to Sea-Doo instead of Yamaha. See how smart that is? So Sea-Doo totally took advantage of that. All right. So what was that? Will Kawasaki make another boat with the joystick? Will Kawasaki make another boat with the joystick? I can't remember the name of it. No. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the jet sled. No, they'll never make that. You're crazy. Will hurrying up production mean quality control is compromised? You're literally living in the aftermath of what happens when you hurry production. Look what's happening in Yamaha right now. Look what's happening in Sea-Doo's not really hurrying production, but look what's happening in Yamaha. Guys, stickers are coming on misaligned. All right. Some parts some skis are showing up with fairings with 3 out of the 4 nuts holding them on. Hell, the beginning of the production here, they're putting the wrong transom plate on. All right. Hurried production means problems, and that's what's happening right now. Okay. All right, guys. We're at an hour 40. I think we're pretty much done. Mitch, don't modify your HO. It's not going to get you much. I mean, you could reflash ECU, you could do all that kind of fun stuff, but it's really not going to get you far. Oh, we got a super chat. Holy cow. Right before I was going to close. All right, Ross comes in. Thanks for your Sunday night shows. Just got my GP 1800 SVHO. Do you recommend Dean's Team or Riva for the reflash? Dean's Team's flash is good. But here's the problem that I personally grind at is you have to take your ECU off your ski, killing your ski, send it off to Dean's Team. He's got to reflash it, and he's got to mail it back to you. So you might be down a couple weeks, all right? and you can't reverse it. It's permanent. Yamaha, Riva, you get the map tuner. You have full access to all the different tunes. So if you want to further modify your ski, you can update your tune as you go. The other thing is, if you choose to sell your GP at some date, you can literally plug in, you can literally program the stock tune back into it and sell it stock to any Yahoo that's out there. You don't have to sell them a totally modified ski, because guess what? Stock skis make more money than modified skis. They do. They really, really do. No one wants to buy your basket case, because guess what? They don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't know how good you are with a set of socket wrenches. I don't know you from Adam. You might be a dingus who's cross-eyed going, oh, this looks good. Who knows? You might be cross-threading everything. So I want a stock ski. If I'm going to buy your ski, and I'm not trying to insult you, Ross. I'm being silly, all right? But I'm trying to make a point in the sense that you want the least modified ski you can off of an owner. If you find out he took a hole saw and drilled holes all through the ski to lighten it up and threw away all the stock parts, I'm like, I don't want that thing. It's a basket case. But so the Riva Reflash, you can literally plug it in, boop, 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 put it back to stock after getting that thing going 88 miles an hour. You know, you could go 86, 87, 88 miles an hour with that thing. Reflash it, tune it, but you keep all your stock parts. When it comes time, when a newer, better thing shows up 3 years from now, 4 years from now, you go, screw this thing. I want the new one. Okay. Put the stock sponsons back on. Put the stock drive plate back on. So put all the stock parts on. Plug in your map tuner. Boopity boop. Off you go to the races. You sell a stock ski for what you got it for, and you go buy the new whiz-bang unit that you found on the Watercraft Journal, and you're no worse for wear. That's why I recommend the Riva map tuner. Makes way more sense. Just makes way more sense. Okay, guys, I think we're good. I think we're groovy. We got another one. I'm trying to sign off, and I get super chats, which I'm very thankful for. All right, Kimberly writes in: do you have a particular place that does graphic kits for the VX Limited? Yes, I do. It is IPD Graphics. IPD. All right. International Peter Dog. IPD. IPD Graphics. The owner's name is Casey Malden. Casey is a fantastic guy. Their graphic kits are some of the best material. And they don't fade in the sun. They're actually the graphic kits that Riva gets. We got another super chat. So I strongly recommend IPD Graphics. All right, John Kelly comes in. When do you think the market for jet ski will dry up or end? I don't expect it will end, and I don't expect it to dry up. I expect it to slow down. And the only way it's going to slow down is when people don't have expendable income anymore. There is nothing more superfluous in the world than buying a jet ski. All right. A jet ski purchase is one of those things like I won the Super Bowl and, I'm going to Disneyland. It's one of those super over the top purchases. One of the main reasons why the jet ski market has gone so berserk is that people had massive amounts of expendable income after the economic gains of 2017, 18, and 19, pre-COVID, and during the previous administration, lower taxes, higher returns, and then, sadly, the government printing money, and the inflation hasn't hit most people yet. So they're cash flush. You can't go, most people can't go on vacation. Most people have really... especially last year, you couldn't go to amusement parks. You couldn't go to a baseball game. Couldn't go to a football game. You couldn't do the things that you wanted to do. So you said, well, hey, let's go buy a jet ski. Boom, they go hit the water. Good purchase. Well, right now people are cash flush. and the inflation hasn't hit hard enough to get people to go, you know what? I can't be buying this right now. So unless consumer confidence skyrockets up this time next year, I'm starting to see mid 2022 to 2023 is the real decline. You'll see prices on the used products start to come down. That's my prediction. All right, guys. Thanks again. John Kelly, you're 100% right. You and I are on the same page. All right, guys. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. One more time. If again, you haven't done it, please give this video a like. Please go back to the Watercraft Journal and give thumbs up to other videos. We really need to get our like count up. And if you haven't done it already, please subscribe to the channel. We definitely want to get the subscriptions up so that the popularity contest that is YouTube will recommend our content over some dumb stuff of people getting hurt and falling off of skis. We really want to get the recommendations up, and that's only going to be, I can't help you do that. You guys got to do it. So if you're fans of what we do, if you like what we do, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, ring the little bell, leave a comment, do all the little doodads that Yamaha that YouTube wants you to do. It's all turning into word salad now. Also, if you want to support us and you want something out of it instead of just a super chat, please go buy a shirt. We got some pretty good shirts. Oh, thank you, sir. Appreciate the super chat just for saying goodnight. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Guys, thanks again. This is the reason why I really enjoy doing what we do. If you like the videos, again, subscribe to our newsletter because we send newsletters out once a week with updates of all the videos as well as all the articles that we publish. Okay. I don't know. Oh, yeah. T-shirt, subscriptions, thumbs up, newsletters. And if you have a Yamaha or a Kawasaki or a pre-2012 Sea-Doo and you're into long-distance riding, please consider purchasing one of our auxiliary fuel system kits. This is a very well-designed stainless steel and powder-coated rear-mounted system. It takes about 9 minutes to install it with zero cutting, zero permanent modifications. You're not touching your fuel system at all. But our 13.5-gallon tank automatically feeds your fuel system and adds upwards to 60% of fuel capacity to your personal watercraft. Please, if you are a long-distance rider and you want that extra fuel and you don't want to pour jerry cans, okay, Mitch, I will put up the link literally right now before I say goodbye just to answer you. We go to the Watercraft Journal, watercraftjournal.com/shop, and you will see the kit right there. Copy and paste. Booyah, there it is. Mitch, it's right below your comment. So again, if you guys are interested, please go check out the Long Hauler Auxiliary Fuel System Kit. Unfortunately, we had to go shipping internationally. Sucks. Oh, it sucks. And I'm not happy about it. But it's literally our cost. So to Canada, to Mexico, Australia, Europe, I'm very sorry, but international shipping blows, and it's literally our cost. I'm not making a dime off of international shipping. So apologies on that one. But guys, check out the auxiliary fuel system kit. I'm also working on a couple other parts that are not so much performance parts, but longevity parts. I'm also working on my own tool to help clear your intake grate, because a lot of people are getting like ropes, and I don't know about rope, but I know I can get plastic bags and leaves and branches and grass out of the intake grate with this tool. And I don't know how close to production we are on that one. Okay. It's an hour 50. Guys, we're done. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. And I hope this one was as fun as it was for me. And we're praying that Kawasaki makes a roaring comeback on this one, because this could be it could be a really competitive year. All right.